Okay. Today and the same topic about the brain death and organ transplantation, but yesterday is a more medical point of view after care of donor family, but today I'm focused on cultural issues. Organ transplantation as a cultural issues. So, and especially focus on donor family's views. So first of all, I'd like to a kind of research questions. Which one? Down. Okay. So the research question is constantly my research question these 20 years not changed. Organ donation. What is organ donation or organ replacement? Because just an organ, human organ, harvest or donation or harvest or replacement, somehow. And the branch research question is how concerned parties narrate about the donors' lives today, and also what is the gap between donor families' view among them. So concerned parties here: 7 organ transplant surgeons had liver kidney, 7 recipient brain death or heart death donors, so it means a deceased donors, a deceased recipients, and 6 donor families, 2 fathers and 3 mothers, 1 wife. And I'd like to introduce the result. Result means surgeon's narrations, surgeon's point of view, or their assessment. One is very positive, another one is very negative. And the positive one is medical treatment of resuscitation. Dying patient recovered dramatically when they put new organs into their bodies. I cannot save such a patient without organ transplant. It's a miracle. Maybe true. This is true statement, and everybody agrees with them. And the second one is very negative. Cruel medical treatment narrated by an organ transplant surgeon himself. Whenever I harvest a beating heart from a donor, I feel that I have given a finishing blow. It's too painful for me as a human. It's a cruel medical care. So, transplant surgeons, we say organ transplantation is a gift of life. Everybody knows, especially American people knows. It's a catchphrase about organ donation. Organ transplant is a gift of life. But transplant surgeons says organ transplant is not a gift of life. Life is not a gift. Life is only gift. We are given from the God as a gift. So life itself, human being cannot giving gift or receiving gift. So that's why organ transplant surgeon said organ transplant is not a gift of life, but it's a gift of love to save someone or something else. Because these two narratives are very opposite. But I listen carefully about their narratives. And number one is miracle treatment, is a good assessment, is an organ transplant itself. Transplant surgeon assessment very good. And miracle is every transplant surgeon agree with it. But cruel, it means organ harvest. Harvesting the organ is a cruel procedure for transplant surgeons, especially heart, beating heart taking off by the
louder.
Because there's a lot of noise coming from the
I try. And the next is the response narratives, and it's also opposite narrative. And the first one is grateful medical treatment. I really thank my donor and the donor family. I soon as possible, as long as possible, to show appreciation. That's my mission. It's very positive. But grateful medical treatment may be true. Everybody understands this one. But another one is very severe narration. Death waiting medical treatment, narrated by the recipients themselves. I didn't want to die, just I wanted to live. But as a result, I was waiting for someone's death. It's a medical care to depend on the death of someone. It's heavy hard. So this is also very actually truth. Someone's death and organ harvest and organ transplant. But all of the recipients feel a kind of guilty. I must survive, but I'm waiting for someone's death. Because they don't want to someone's death, but they are actually waiting for organ donation. Waiting for organ donation is equal someone's death. Someone's death without someone's death without organ donation. So it's really, of course they are not wishing someone's death, but as a result, waiting for someone's death. It's really heavy for the recipient. And the donor families narratives, it's also mother and father and assessment are a little bit different. And one donor father says, I want my daughter to live, even if only her organ. Although she is a missing child, she lives inside the recipient's body somewhere. I want to see. And the donor mom's narratives, I'd like to make my son alive in someone else's body to avoid death. I had a feeling that I didn't lose everything from me. I'm always with him, with my son. So, both of donor family, donor dad and donor mother, motivation of organ donation is not saving the recipients. To avoid their son or daughter's death, to keep living, just only in a donor, just only in an organ. Actually, harvested organ still functioning, someone's body, so still alive. Whole body died, but partial one or two organs still alive. But the father says it's like a missing child, my daughter or my son's organ living somewhere. So apart from their body, father's body, somewhere else. But the mother often says alive inside my body, like a pregnant lady. So Japanese father is the assessment is almost same as other countries, but Japanese mother is very unique. They try to come back to it in a womb, like a pregnant. My son living inside my body. So the assessment of gift of life is let me back. Recipient's assessment phrase gift of life is gift of life is we recipients, they recipients think about we are gift of life. Organ transplant gift of life itself, they say, same as gift phrase. But donor family says gift of life, but as a result, gift of life. First motivation, first aim is avoiding my children's death, and as a result, for this gift of life. So this is a different assessment. So I try to some number in the chart figure, and organ transplantation is cell and narrated organ transplantation are different. And usually, the surgeon and recipient is a donor, is a doctor and recipient, doctor and patient relationship. Usually, paternalistic top down. But organ transplantation is a new agent, has a new agent, donor families. So triangle. But actually, surgeon or spinsters or ordinary people thinking way is a surgeon, organ transplantation is a surgeon to recipients donors. But the concerned parties thinking way is a surgeon to recipient donor families. Because donors are already died. So living people's human relationship with surgeon to recipients and donor families, but just to communicate or think about the exchange their thoughts. So donor has passed away, but the partial organ still alive. And the surgeon's position is usually top-down surgeon to recipient, but organ transplantation without the donor, surgeon cannot perform operation. That's why surgeon down to the almost equal, not equal, but more another position. Surgeon says we are mediator between donors and recipients. Just a harvest organ and this replace to recipient. So the position is not top down. This change to mediators.
Okay. Yep, go ahead.
And
We understand.
Recipient to think about the relationship recipient alive with donated organ, so they try to make they think about I can live for thanks to the donors organs. But donor family thought recipient can live because donor family is decision making, not donor. Actually, donor cannot donate their organs themselves. The organ donation is a donor family decision making is necessary. That's why donor family thinks recipient can live our organ donation, thanks to organ donation. So recipient think about we can live for donors.
You can see your on the
Screen.
computer. Look on the computer and then face us while you speak.
Where?
You have the same picture on the computer,
Yeah.
so you can speak to the computer and we see you then.
The camera.
Yeah, go to the next one. Next slide. As you look at us. Not the
Oh,
screen.
okay. Yeah. I see. So, donor family, recipient and donor families relationships very severe and very sensitive, and actually the relationship not so good, but they know each other. They notice each other. Recipient feels we cannot live without donors organ, but it's also we cannot live donor family decision making of organ donation. And then donor family feels without recipient, my children's organ cannot survive, cannot live. So for them, for recipient and for donor family, it's both of necessary each other. So they created interdependent relationships. And the donor family expects the recipient long life because recipient died, donated organ will also die. And the recipients, so the recipient cannot leave donor family's organ decision making. So the relationship slowly getting better. And in summary, for organ transplantation is for recipient renewable life, just changing organs. A recipient can renew his or her life with new donor's organs, but renewed life is biological and limited life. And the recipient will eventually die together with donated organs death. It means that someday the recipient life will finish at the same time as donor's organs. So it's easy to understand for us and recipients renewable life, biological life. But donor's life is a reversible life. It's very difficult to understand, but maybe Kara understands easily. So a donor can be reborn in donor family's mind through organ donation. So organ donation is just a ritual, but it is invisible and limitless life. It means people cannot see the donor's eternal life inside the donor family's mind. But the partial organ, actually, it's living biological life. But the donor family created the donated partial organ, but created the whole body. And donor is become a new family member, and donor family living together. So I think about donor family, the thinking way, reversible life or reborn, donor can reborn. It's very difficult for me to understand, but very unique understanding way. So I started focus on donor family research. The original research 2002 to 2003, 6 donor families formally interviewed. So 6 donor families is very few, but at that time in Japan, only total 90 organ donation in Japan. So 1/3 of donor family in Japan at that time. And 3 donor families were satisfied. So half of them are satisfied at that time. And follow-up research is first follow-up research started 2014 to 2016. The casual interview and indirect approaches. Only 1 donor family has no change of heart, but 5 donor family absolutely changed. So less than 20% donor family changed, but more than 80% donor family's mind assessment has changed. This figure is a sum up. And donor family's ambivalent views. 3 regretted donor families in 2003 turned to satisfaction 2019. And 2 satisfaction donor family in 2003 turned to change, regret 2016. And only 1 donor family is keeping the satisfaction. For me, this result is very ridiculous. Only 1 donor family will not change, but 5 donor family absolutely opposite assessment. So I try to follow up research start again. And this is a narration about satisfaction to change regretful donor family narration. And she, donor mom, was so sad to lose her son, and we, the family members, couldn't talk about organ donation issues for more than 10 years. Even now, when she has been ill in bed. And another donor family narrates, I sometimes wondered why I donated my son's organ at that time. I know that he died and donated his organ, which means that the recipient survived. That's good. But the surviving recipient and my son's death are different. So two donor families' narration is in 2003, both of them are satisfied, but 2014, about 10 or 15 years after, their mind has changed. And another one is change from regret to satisfied in the family's view. Whenever I saw a recipient, I saw my son behind them. I feel my son helped someone and is still alive through his organ inside someone's body somewhere. And another donor mother says, I am so happy to see recipient today because we are given lives from above. Also, my son passed away. I hope that they will complete their donated organs life, the liver and recipient liver as long as possible. Both of the donor parents trying to change regret to satisfied, but both of them have a chance to meet a donor. No, not donor, sorry. Have a chance to see a recipient directly. And keeping these 10 or 15 years, keeping satisfied status, donor families, narration, yes. And I wrote a book about the narration. So, and I donate the donor families. She gave me an email, and she said, thank you for your book. It's become my family's wonderful memento. I'm so happy that you wrote about my family event in your book. I will also let my daughter read this book because she was too young to remember her dad's organ donation. The daughter was only 5 years old when her father donated organs. So only one family and other families assessment has changed. It's a really big question for me. So I turned back to the research in 2002. And in 2002, organ donation will is very big meaning. So organ donation will in Japan is a special meaning. To compare other countries are different. Organ donation will is maybe in the United States maybe donor cards or organ donation. But the Japanese organ donation will means organ donation intentions. But the translated donor cards is organ donation decision cards, not donor cards. The meaning is much more different. Intention indicator cards and instruction about donor cards. Organ donation is from a blinded donor under Japanese law was permitted only when he or she 15 years old or over had a documented will, both to accept the blindness diagnosis and to donate his or her organs for organ transplantation, and also his or her family did not refuse either of them. So Japanese organ donation will very heavy meaning, not just a donor card or organ donation wish. So in the original research 2003, organ donation will is a very important factor. Donors' own organ donation will was the most important factor for donor families. The reason why it is easy to decide organ donation among family members. Number two, the donor family can fulfill their donor's last wish, leading them to complete the donor's life with great satisfaction. Number three, it's reducing donor family's grief or sadness. But 10 or 15 years later, after, donation wills power a little bit change. A donor's own organ donation will is not such an important factor for donor families anymore. So two donor families regret the donation despite their great satisfaction in 2003. And the three families were pleased with the organ donation despite their deep regret in 2003. And only one donor family was still satisfied with the organ donation before 2002 to 2019, they said, but actually 2020. Mostly permanent. This figure sum up the result. The big difference is donor A father, B mother, C mother. And in 2003 they are regretted. But in 2004, after 2004 they returned to satisfied. And they have a donation will, but they don't have a donor family donation will. Either of donors organ donation will and neither nor donor family's donation will. And F father, 2003 they are satisfied, but after that they turn to change and regret. The two cases, donors organ donation will they have, but donor family's donation will they don't have. And this about 20 years no change, keeping satisfied my wife. As a donor, it means the husband has an organ donation will, and the donor family's wife also have a donation will. So actually, donor organ donation will is important. It's no change, but meaning not so. It's not so permanent. So donor's organ donation will versus donor family's organ donation will. I feel donor's organ donation will's meaning and the donor family's organ donation may be different. A donor's organ donation will make the decision to donate easier for donor family. That's true. A donor family's organ donation will help them to accept donor's donation at the only early stage. Accordance between the organ donation will of donor and donor family is an important factor. It's an important factor in attaining satisfaction about the donation. But agreement among the donor and the donor family and the community and the circumstances around them has a positive effect on this care. It means in only early stage organ donation will is donor's organ donation will be very important. But chronic stage, about 15 or 10 years after, donor's organ donation is not so helpful. But community or circumstances, environmental factor about donor family members, it's much more important and much more useful for grief care. And this is a donor family trying to change satisfaction to regret. Donor mom's changes. While she agreed with the donation at the time in accordance with her son's will, now her grief at his death would make her refuse it. And donor does change. He is overwhelmed by a sense of loss of his son, which increases day by day. Because two donor family trying to change and satisfied to regret donor families, their sadness is not changing until 2003. They are still thinking about son's death all day long. And other three donor families changed from regret to satisfaction families. They divided children's death is death, organ donation is organ donation. And donor mom age changed to point is a big factor is meeting the recipient. And donor mom B is changes big effect. Big event is donor brother's understanding. And the donor does changes the spouses of donor siblings and grandchildren's understanding. It means donor mom has a chance to meet the recipient directly. At that time, they can feel if I were recipient's mother, maybe expect someone's death, someone's organ donation. So just a positioned problem to be a donor mother or recipient's mother. So at the time her mind had changed regret to satisfaction. My son died, but after organ donation, someone's son or daughter saved their lives. It's good. So donor mom's change the point is his donor is older brother. So younger brother is younger son has a great understanding for mother's decision making. So she satisfaction. And the donor does change the event is the donor, his donor is he has three children, and the donor is a middle child. And the donor's brother and the older brother and the donor's younger sister get married, and their spouse's assessment very good. And automatically their siblings, donor's grandchildren, understanding assessment of the organ donation is very good. So donor father receive children's spouse's good assessment of organ donation, and grandchildren good assessment of organ donation. So his mind changed to satisfaction. So this picture is a Japanese donor father award Australian victor recipient a medal at the World Transplant Games. At that time, I was translated Australian recipient and Japanese donor father, and they communicate English and Japanese, and I translated. At that time, they said donor father and recipient shaking the hand, and Japanese donor father says, sorry, Australian recipient says thank you. Of course, thank you. Thank you so much. But donor father says, please take care of my son's or my daughter's organs. So, Australian recipient received a kidney from an Australian person, and the Japanese donor dad donated a kidney to someone else in Japan, among Japanese. But their feelings are the same. And the recipient feels thank you so much for donor families, and the donor family feels please take care of my child's kidney. So their feeling they can communicate with each other, they can understand each other. At that time, he was regret donor dad, but he turned to change and satisfy the donor father. And keeping a satisfaction wife, her late husband has an organ donation will, and she has her own organ donation will, and now her daughter done too. And her family-in-law and his former colleagues admire his organ donation. It means donor, her husband, has an organ donation will, and donor family, his wife, donor wife has also organ donation will, and daughter also has an organ donation will, and donor's family-in-law and donor's former colleagues admire his organ donation will and donor wife's organ donation actions. So others or community or friends or other family member or other human relationships, good assessment is most important factor to keeping satisfaction of organ donations. But I still keeping an anxious problem. Organ donation provides a great hope for organ recipient, but have we implemented enough support for the grief of donor families? Despite the increasing number of organ donation, few studies of donor families have been undertaken to understand the issue for them. Most of researchers focus on the recipients but not donor families so much. And reducing donor families' grief could be a key to increasing organ donation issues in the future. Family grief care is available after events such as cancer, accident, and natural disasters. If we found that donor family grief care is a key point or grief care way, maybe it's we can use for cancer or accident or natural disasters grief families. In the conclusion, in the past, in the Japanese organ transplant medical care started was a scandalous case. Yesterday I mentioned about the water case in 1968. In the present, Japanese organ donation numbers remain extremely low, and most recipients still depend on living donors or overseas transplant in 2020 now. However, it is possible for Japanese to have a more hopeful future for organ transplantation globally. One donor mother says that with wise words. One donor mother says, I think that organ transplantation medical care won't become widespread unless donor families think that it was a positive. That was donated our family members organ donation. She she also says we don't normally think organ donation is a good. Organ donation is a good. At that time, organ donation number automatically interact. Thank you.
Thank you. So people on Skype, you may want to ask some questions via as well. So, from the love of life, the love of love, giving organs, do you have some questions or comments?
I think it would be miraculous when we understand this thing of how to make organs.
Right?
We are just on this frontier of how to make organs. Like in the cell, what is this frontier? We can grow organs, we can grow new organs in the laboratory. Like to grow some liver tissue from the liver, or to grow a kidney from a kidney, and where we won't need the live donor. And we will have the ability in the laboratory to make the organs for people and bring to closer the organ shortage for the people who can live with a new organ. It will be miraculous, when we can make in the laboratory the new organs.
In the future.
In the future, we are on this line of research now, but it's just so, it's profound because of the different philosophies and the context and what is, it's awesome to look at how many people in the world now are needing a kidney, and they don't have a kidney and they're waiting for a donor, and it is very strange. You mentioned that the person's life is contingent on someone who died quickly who has the right organ for me. It's a very strange borderline. But I think your research is really excellent to explore the people's feelings, and the depth of it is that people who may have eventually the regret because they're missing that person, and then how to involve them in the community of the other people who are lonely because they don't have the person's love, because maybe they lost a parent or a child, and to make these relationships so that people can not feel the aloneness, so they can live among the living. It's all complicated. It's very complicated. But eventually to make the organs will be amazing, these 3D things and what we're doing in the stem cell research.
Actually stem cell research improve development and we can make a self-organ by themselves, regenerative research or transplant. Maybe it's ideal, but it takes a long time.
It's one of the miracles. You talk about the technology, the biotechnology, what is the good results, what is the questionable, ethical. It's highly ethical that eventually we can do it.
Maybe it takes about 100 years, I don't know.
Maybe not so long, I don't think so.
But not so soon.
I don't know.
So until then, we have to depend on the human organs.
Okay, Suma, go ahead.
Because when you were going through the slides, I was just thinking that to bridge this gap of suffering and as well as the feelings that we go through, traumatic feelings that both have been go through, do you have counseling session even before you start the organ transplant operation, transplant operation?
Actually, I didn't do counseling at all, just taking interview. So maybe Mumu is
So if there's some session,
same law. Because I sometimes feel maybe transplant surgeons and recipients and especially donor families want to someone listen their talk, listen their feelings, but there is no chance to talk. They really feel. Nobody listens to you.
Can you have volunteers who are trained specially for this? So that, because this is always happening in your hospital.
No chance.
You can't have volunteers to come and help.
No grief care.
No grief care.
And also transplant surgeon has a dilemma, but nobody care about it. It's a professional work, but the organ transplant surgeon want to say it's a miracle treatment. Everybody knows, but it's a cruel treatment. Nobody care about it. So nobody care about nobody imagine about the dilemma of transplant surgeons. And the recipient feeling also patient to patient, nobody that ask. And the donor family is no chance to talk, no place to talk. But the researcher, as a researcher, try to ask, please speak. And for them, it's a big opportunity.
And I also felt that as you were speaking about interviews, I feel that you should have longer stories from these people, so that these stories become big stories for many Japanese people. It should be put in media so that people will be willing to donate organs. My own experience, I have a very far relative, and the parents never even knew that the boy, he was a young boy who passed away in an accident. It was only after his death that they checked his clothes and they found that he had a card, a donor card, and he actually wanted to donate organs to people, which means that this awareness must increase, otherwise like she said, till we make organs in the lab, till then what is going to happen to because you as a surgeon or as a doctor and donor family on one hand, recipient on the other hand, there's a lot of trauma in between. So just thinking whether counseling can help, whether some group can be formed, even if it's not agreed formally within the hospital grounds, whether it can be done somewhere so that these families get help.
Yeah, last year one donor father told me about 15 years ago, and he doesn't want to talk about these issues. But I asked the interview, but at that time he asked me many questions to me, what kind of research are you doing? So I'm taking the interview with transplant surgeon and recipient families. He says, if you interview only donor family, I never do this. But you taking the interview transplant surgeon, the recipient, and donor family, that's why I wanted to talk. It's fair, he says. After 18 years after he told me.
What about organ donation in Bangladesh? Are there donations? Do you know? That's right?
Yes, organ donation in Bangladesh is not that popular. We are now trying to develop this treatment, but actually the patient from Bangladesh, they still cannot trust organ donation of organ transplantation there, so they prefer to travel outside Bangladesh, like most commonly India, Singapore, Thailand. They prefer this in these countries.
Suma says that Suma says if my interview is this a kind of mental care or grief care, it's an accident. But even accidentally, it's really become medical concerned about the grief care. I'm very happy, but not on purpose. Accident.
So as an anthropologist, because you know that some of your interviews will become a grief care, it has a double purpose. It's like a clinical researcher doing research has a double purpose. So how do you feel? Is that, to what degree do you follow up? Because you've shown us your participation in the transplant games, in ongoing continuity of contact with your interview subjects. So you become a bit like, you could become a daughter, you could become a counselor, you could become the grief counselor, you could even become somebody to be accused of the system because nobody else they can accuse in person. How that could also be interesting in terms of your perspective of how to report, you know.
Well, I'd like to answer two point of view. One is as an anthropologist, as a researcher, and another one is my personal emotional reasons. The first one is as an anthropologist. Most of Japanese anthropologists feel obligation because they narrated. That's why we have to write a dissertation or something like that. Obligation for Japanese anthropologists. But I'm a mixture, so I don't feel obligation at all. Because I asked many regulations, escalate regulation, step. So they say yes. That's why I don't feel obligation their narration. But I have a responsibility. So it's a big difference. Ordinary Japanese anthropologist and my position. And most of Japanese anthropologists don't understand me because people feel obligation.
Unless you have an external body who is doing this grief care.
But I feel it's not obligation. It's my responsibility as a researcher to get the data. I have to write. But personal emotion, maybe that is want to know that. When I take an interview and there are many assessments of your daughter or something like that, actually I didn't expect at all. So at the beginning I feel a very strange feeling, but in the middle, I feel on the process to interview, I feel I want to be let's say I want to be a ghost. So let's say I'm here, but like a air. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to control their narratives at all. If they feel me a daughter, that's okay. They're also their data. For me, everything is so their assessment. Some concerned parties kick me out. It's also there. So their assessment or their reaction, I don't care. Everything for me is data.
Okay. So you have to be flexible in your approach as a human being, in a sense. You have to take whatever comes.
Yeah, just my interest.
Any other comments? Questions? Anyone? Okay, well, thank you very much, Maria.
Thank you.
Big congratulations also from our Skype colleagues.